Hello, hello.
Always a
Welcome to the
satisfying
Duff
moment
Law
when you
channel.
return to your ship.
Today, what we're going to be doing is a shipbuilding tutorial for the Xbox Series S. Here's my current ship. I am very happy with the armament, but the overall look, I am not a big fan of. So what we're going to
He's woken
do
up, and he's our new captain.
is
I
delete
took
it
a tour around
all
your ship,
except for
and we
the
can stop by to check the
cockpit
Authority kiosk
and
if you need
the
to offload some cargo.
weapons and the uh, we're going to keep all the necessary things and we're going to delete all the unnecessary things. So what's necessary? And step one is to walk up to your ship service technician or the kiosk on your shipbuilding platform.
Sure,
Click
have
view
at
and
it.
modify ships. And here she is in all of her glory. We'll go over the necessary components. And while we're doing that, we'll be able to analyze everything else. So first, this is where you get one ship, still called the Frontier. I just got back to over 100,000 credits, so my crew capacity is 7. Let's go ahead and hit the X button. That'll take us to the shipbuilder. We're going to start by deleting all of our cargo and what's holding our cargo. That, I think, was all of our cargo. Delete this. We need fuel, so we'll put that aside. We need shields. Oops. Delete. So, oh, tapping A to grab it, and then I'm moving. Then I'm going to push A again to leave it there. These thingamadoodads, the cowling that has the weapons on it, I believe you can just tap A and it'll move all of it. So since I have all my rockets there, it'll select all my rockets with that. And the rest of my weapons are on my cockpit. So we'll go ahead and select our cockpit. We'll move. Oh, it's not going to work that way for our guns. But what we can do is just select the plate that they're on, and that'll move 2 guns at a time. Do that again. Oh, we do have another gun. Um, let's just go ahead and move that too then. Oh, we can put it right on top. Up on the D-pad when you've selected something is to go up and down. The right stick is how I'm changing the view like this. The right trigger is zoom in, left trigger is zoom out. And to move laterally is the left stick. So let's continue deleting things. Let's delete that. Let's delete our gear too. We'll delete the bay. We'll delete the docking module. We'll delete this gear. We'll delete this. We'll delete that gear. We'll delete this. Delete that landing gear. Delete that. Delete this. Delete that. And we'll keep our engines and everything else I believe we can keep because this is all necessary. Let's actually go ahead and delete this because we have these 2 fuel modules back here. This is more landing gear. We're going to delete the more landing gear. And now we've got our cockpit. Got our shield module. Select that with A. I'm going to move it over here, but I think we can flip that side, the sides of that. We're going to move this. We're going to move this. And we'll keep 2 for this side and 2 for that side. Oops, I don't know how that happened. A, drag A, drag A. Okay. Things are on different levels. That's fine. But what we're going to need to do first, I fucked up. Let's just leave that there, connected to all of our weapons. Let's grab. So since we're in blank space, we can tap the A button. And now we're in the menu where all the components are. So what we need to do primarily is attach a landing bay and a docking module to our cockpit. But they have to be traversable. You have to be able to freely move a person from the landing bay to the docking port and the cockpit, or else it won't work. What I think I'm going to do is put one of these top dockers above the cockpit. Excuse me. But in order to do that, I'm going to need a hab. So let's look at our habs that we have. We got an engineering bay, all-in-one berths, or Deimos, engineering bays, living quarters. Let's do a living quarters, nice big one. We'll put that right behind our cockpit. First, let's see how long we can make it. So let's do that. Tap A again, and we're going to put the engineering bay. Engineering bay, alpha, or bravo. Because that adds 1 to our crew. Let's put that there. And then we will put Oval Galactic Frontier. I don't know what this is. I guess maybe just the frontier thing. Companionway, frontier. Let's see which one of these two adds a crew. Computer core. Oh, a control station adds 2 crew. So let's do that. So now we're back to 7, which is what we started with. And additionally, we've got this fuel. So let's put the fuel in a central location. Right there. And we're gonna have to put a bay and a docker in. So let's do that first. Shields. The max length isn't very long, so I'm not going to try adding any more length to that. I'm going to hope we're not outside of the limits already. But there's this landing bay, the NG6 landing bay, and we have the one that we had before. So let's face that to the rear and put it all the way in the back, shall we? 57 meters might be too long. But we'll find out. We're gonna find out in this video today if it is too long. For our missiles, we're gonna probably want them right there. That looks like a good spot for me. If you ask me, I'd say that looks good. And docking, docker. You can go with this docker or this docker. Nova Galactic or Deimos. Both of them have the same mass, but this one adds 3 to our hull. Not that we'll ever have our shields penetrated, but we'll go ahead and put that right there, right behind the weapons, behind the missiles. And since that's right there, we'll go ahead and attach our, what do you call these things? Reactor. We need a reactor for the power, and we need a grav drive to work with our reactor. So we've got that. Now we are going to need mounts for our engines. Looks like we can put one here and one here. So that's 2 engines. Where should we put our shields? Let's go ahead and attach our shields right there. But in case you haven't noticed, whenever you select something, all the points that you can put them become highlighted. Now I could put our engines like this, uh, but that looks pretty stupid. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to leave it like that. Let's see what our errors are. We're able to look at our errors by hitting the flight check button, which is the start button. And the first problem is we cannot reach the cockpit from the landing bay. The landing bay needs to be connected to the cockpit. And it exceeds the max length with their height, and we don't have any landing gear. So let's close that. And I think it says it's not connected because there is no way for there to be a door on the front side of the landing bay. So we're going to have to move this down and put it right there. And now, yeah, now we've eliminated that one error because that was not possible for that landing bay. But now I think I'm going to want to move this since it's got to be on that other level. Let's flip it towards the front and put it right there. I think I like how that looks better. So now our docker and our landing bay are connected to the cockpit. But since our docker here is on the top, if we wanted to build up, we would get another error message that pops up. So let me show you that quick. The Deimos we don't have an armory yet. Or an infirmary. Let's see. I think we can get those with both Nova Galactic and Deimos. Or Nova Galactic, we can get a workshop, we can get a science lab, living quarters, an infirmary, and an armory. So those are all the same, and they both cost the same. Deimos has a mass of 8. They both have the same mass as well. So let's put our infirmary. Nah, I think the science lab would be science lab and a workshop. I think the science lab and the workshop both have all of the necessary all the tables for building stuff. But I stacked them up like this so I could show you what our new error is. Invalid Docker module position because this top piece here goes over top of, see that floating highlight? That's as high as we can build on the top. Unless we were to move the Docker module on top of this, then it would be fine. But I don't want to build up this high, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete that, and immediately we've lost that Docker module error. But we're still exceeding the max length, width, or height. So it must be the length. So something we can do now to fix that is we can try to put our cockpit somewhere else. So for now, let's move this back to here. Let's move this back to here. Let's move this back to here. We're just moving everything back right now so we can maybe set our cockpit. We gotta select everything. Now that this plate's highlighted, we'll be able to select the plate and see those two guns highlighted. That means they're selected as well. So I'm gonna select the plate that gun is on. I'm gonna select the plate that those are on. Select the cockpit itself, and that selects the guns that are below. But the guns that are below are worrying because might not have room once. Oh, it looks like we will. Beautiful. But now, as soon as you reposition, you can see our selection is gone. So now all of that is not selected anymore. If I move the cockpit again without selecting, oh man. And this doesn't look good either. Our missiles, though I'm sure they'll still work. I don't like how it looks because of, you know, realistic realism. It would launch directly into the back of our cockpit. And we don't want that. So I think I'm going to try moving this gun back to down here. See if it fits. It's highlighting green, so that means it'll fit right there. And now let's see if we can throw this on top. It looks like we can. We might have an error with our Docker module once again, though. Not being high enough. Let's see what our errors are. Docker needs to be higher. Cannot reach cockpit from landing bay. What are you talking about? Oh, I know what it is. You can't reach the cockpit because the cockpit can't be accessed from down below. That needs to be accessed from the rear. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab this, we're going to flip it, we're going to put it down next to the docking or the landing bay. And then we will take this, our workshop, and we're going to put it right behind the cockpit. And that removed 3 of our errors. So now we're docking down below, our landing bay is down below, and it looks like our landing bay will probably have a ladder that goes up to our living quarters. And in our living quarters, there'll probably also be a ladder between that and our docking module. And that ladder will likely be a 3-level ladder that goes up to here, which is our Novo Galactic workshop, right behind the cockpit. Our landing bay also doubles as a weapon mount because we put that plate down. It's called an equipment plate. And all of our missiles are nicely stacked on top. But I don't like how it's just a flat back like that. So I think what I'm going to do additionally, let's see what our error is first. Too few landing gear. But we're no longer exceeding the maximum length. So let's start adding some landing gear. I'm going to go out to where we're not selecting anything right here, where our cursor is not highlighting any of the modules or equipment. And we're going to tap A again. And do we want to start adding? No, we're not going to start adding landing gear until we get our engines where we want them. So what we're going to do is see what we have for our modules. We have the living quarters, engineering bay, and workshop. That's what gets us to a max crew of 7. But we don't have a science lab, or do we? No, we just have a control station. The control station gets us up to 7. The workshop is where our benches will be for crafting stuff. And then the lab is what we're going to have to add to the back. The science lab. And we're going to put that right there. Galactic workshop and a science lab. And now we'll be able to move these engines up 1. So to do that, highlight it, tap A to select, up on the D-pad, goes up 1 level. Tap A again, boom. Now it's reattached. Now we've got a pretty long ship. All of our missiles and all of our weaponry. Mobility is now as high as you can get it, but we have hardly any cargo. I'm gonna go ahead and move the fuel to right by the grav drive, because that's what it is. It's grav drive fuel. So, you want to duplicate these? Nah, let's not duplicate it. And let's actually, I changed my mind. I want to move the fuel all the way to the back, near the engines. So now we have room for landing gear, which is our only error as well. Let's see what gear is available. Tapping A again. Gear is right here. So we've got our Deimos landing gear with a mass of 3 and thrust of 1. Or Nova Galactic gear with a mass of 2 and a thruster of 1. Mass of 1, mass of 2, mass of 3. Hope Tech gives us a mass of 1 instead of 2. So I think we'll put this one in the back actually. We might be able to get away with just 2 forward landing gears if that's the case. So we just attach that to the back near the engines, and let's see if we can get away with just 2 additional landing gears. Oops. I'm gonna flip it. And we're gonna put it up 1, up 2. Nope, down 1. Put that one right there. And we'll put this one up right there. and we look nominal. So that means we've got a perfectly functional ship right now, but we have no cargo space. So where should we put our cargo space? Let's see what adding our last cargoes did, which this one is Massa 64, 300 cargo. I think it's the most cargo, 320. 320 is the most cargo we can get, but that's a mass of 68, 64, 48, 225, 52, 245. Mass of 44 for 210. Let's see what adding a couple of these does. What's our error? Too few landing gear. So the moment we add that mass, we need to add more landing gear. So right now, if we add any more mass, we're going to have to add more landing gear as well. Sure. Man. Let's see if we can add something with a smaller mass. What's that? 64. Let's try adding. That's 44. It's 48. So if we add this one, it looks like we're going to have the same error. Yeah, too few landing gear. Man. Gets our cargo up to 410, but makes us have to add more landing gear. Let's delete this. And then we'll go ahead and add a few more landing gear. Duplicate. Put this one. We'll flip it. Oh no. Flip it. There we go. And now we'll go to the other side. We will duplicate and then next variant and then put it right there. All right, so now let's see what happens. We add some cargo. Our mobility is still at 100, but our jump range has dropped down 1 light year. I want to add 4 of these. Mobility's up still, but our jump range dropped down another light year. So we're going to, I want these on the other side as well. So RB to select that one, RB to select that one. And I can't duplicate them both unless I'm highlighting one of them. So now this cursor is highlighting over there. So we're going to hit duplicate. Looks like we can't flip them while they're selected like this. So just hit accept. And then select one at a time. We'll flip this one, put it there, select it, Y to flip it. But our div shields are there, so we're gonna hit X there. We're gonna move our shields to the front. Right there looks good. Out of the way. Reselect our cargo. Put it there again. Down to 16 light years for our range. But our cargo's back up to 1400, which seems reasonable. And our crew is still at 7. Mobility is way better than it was when we started. Our mobility is at 100 still. But we did drop a lot of cargo. But for now, that's all we need. Other than dealing with how stupid this looks and all this open, weird looking space, let's see what we can do about the look of it. So So we're gonna go over to structural, braking engine, toweling. We can flip this one. Let's see what this looks like. A bit strange looking, that's for sure. I'm gonna delete it. Radiator. What if we put a radiator there? A bigger radiator would look better, I think. That's the only radiator that we have. So let's see what this looks like. Put that right there. Let's duplicate it. Put it there. Duplicate it again and put it there. There's a big ass radiator for all of our equipment. That looks just fine. Alright, now let's see what we can do about the empty space here. Put a little wing down here. Let's duplicate that. Put one on the other side too. Y to flip it. So now we got that going for us. Looks like we've only got Deimos parts, so let's put these radiator looking wings over here and on the other side. Okay, flip. Put it there. Interesting. That's pretty interesting. Let's put a couple of windows on the back. Flip it. Put one there. Duplicate it. Put one there. Alright, so now we got windows. Our mobility's dropped down from the mass we've added. But that's fine. Let's actually put some windows down there too. Portholes. Got one there. Duplicate. Put it here. Duplicate. Move to the other side. Tap Y to flip. And we'll put one there. Alright, so we got some windows. We got some cargo. She's looking a little bit better already. Now, one last thing to do is add some color to this. So what we're going to do for that is move over to so we can get, you see the select all button is LB, but you can't see that if if your cursor is not over part of the ship. So now I'm going to tap LB. I'm going to move my cursor off of it, and we still have left stick LS for color. So we hit that. So we got 3 colors that we're going to have to choose. Color 1. Let's go with, a dark blue. So that's pretty bright blue right now, but we can get down to the dark. Dark, dark blue, almost black. That's color 1. Now let's look at color 2. Since I'm looking at the colors, I can't rotate or traverse laterally the camera. We're stuck in this view. But I can zoom. I'm not sure what we want for that. Let's go with maybe like an orange. So over to yellow. No, we'll go right here. That looks orange. Let's see if our saturation thing can go over. less saturation on that. Pretty strange looking. Let's just go with that. And then this one, we'll go down to recent and we'll select gray, but let's make it lighter gray, almost white. Sure, yeah, let's accept that and take a gander. And it looks like for us to do all this is going to cost us 4,541 credits. And look at the armament. 3 autocannons. We got 4 of the highest damage cannons available. And 3 rocket pods that each contain, looks like 5 rockets each. So yeah, a formidable ship has been built. And that's going to be that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hold tap B to exit. We're going to accept that. And then we're going to hit X or B to exit. Thanks for coming by, ladies and gentlemen.
Here. I'll be at my booth.
That'll be it for the quick ship tutorial. We've got our little bit of cargo space. Got our little wings, our 4 landing gears. Well, 5 landing gears. Our docking bays on the bottom, right here. Oh, but look at this. Because our ship is so long, our landing base sticks out. But it's alright, we can just jump in. And then let's board it to see where we come in our ship at. We'll do a brief tour of the inside. So we got our windows. What look like our, so that's forward. Yeah, that's forward. Right below us is our landing bay. And right here should be our docking module right below that. Looks like we don't have a double-decker ladder, so oh, I gotta wait for Sarah to get out of the way.
How are you easing into things, Andrasia? Is our
Yeah,
ritual
that leads
actions
right into our
helping with the
cockpit.
transition to this new way of life for you?
Yes.
Got our good-looking cockpit here.
Proper adjustments are
Moving
made.
towards the rear.
The most difficult part has been acclimating to what you perceive as the more
Any day you make it through is a victory in my book.
We have our spacesuit
Such as?
workbench, industrial workbench, and a weapon workbench.
Oh, yes. Here's
But
a
where's our
particularly
other
strange one.
tabs?
After a person sneezes,
Am I on the wrong level?
someone
Oh yeah,
invariably
must have
invokes
been
the
on the
phrase,
wrong level.
"Bless you." Oddly
There's our
strange to
windows.
administer absolution after witnessing.
I think this is our Deimos engineering bay. And then our rearmost control center, I think is what this is. I don't remember the names of the habs the best most of the time. But up here looks like our pharmaceutical lab.
Good to see you.
Hello there.
So yeah, we've got our research lab and our pharmaceutical lab here. So then we'll go down. And this is our computer core, I think. either computer core or control station, whichever one gives you 2 crew slots. And then right here is something, our Deimos living quarters, maybe? This is the Deimos living quarters. I don't know what that is. Yep. Alrighty. Right behind the cockpits, all of our workbenches. And we'll do a quick check of our cargo hold. Looks like we're at 1,257 of our total 1,540 capacity. Man. So cargo's a little light, but we're able to mess anybody up that we come in contact with all of our weapons. And we got enough to sell off right now. I'm gonna have to do a selling spree. But anyway, that's gonna do it for today's video. It's 41 minutes in. Hopefully, if you don't know what you're doing in the shipbuilder and you saw this, it helped you out a little bit. Alrighty. Bye-bye.